The two principles. There are two principles in the higher levels of occult mathematics, which state the following. The relation of the earth to the sun determines the relation of the sun to the earth. I replace the earth with man and the sun with God. Then you have a translation. Man's relations with God determine God's relations toward man. This is a principle over which there can be no dispute. Hence all contradictions in our private and public life arise from this law and from this combination of relations. I make a second translation. The soul's relationship to the spirit determines the relationship of the spirit to the soul. I make another translation by exchanging the soul with the word child and the spirit with the word mother. And then we have the same law again. The child's relationship to the mother determines the relationship of the mother to the child. In Scripture, you'll find the verse in the Gospel of Luke 6:47, where Christ says that those who build their house on sand aren't like those who build it on a rock. According to the rules of this law in the occult, regarding the relationships between things, you need to keep in mind the fact that you are not free to think, feel, nor act as you please. Someone is saying, I'm free to do whatever I want. This is a crooked thought. In order for this to occur, you have to be free of all foreign thoughts. If you want what other people want, it's not in the proper order of things. It's the same as if several guards were taking someone to a place. He would walk wherever those 10 guards led him. Observe the following thought. I don't want to convince you of anything. I don't want to impose anything on you. I want to free you from the bondage you're in. You might misunderstand what I'm saying. See, the words I want are a human expression. This is a desire from the invisible world, or God's desire to see all his children free. I don't want to deal with your past. That's your affair. I only deal with your present or your future. And the only person who can help you in the path in which you currently find yourselves in is me. If I abandon you, you'll be lost in the given moment. If I let go of the stick that you're holding on, perhaps only after 1,000 years will you be able to come so I can deliver you. There's no philosophy here at all. The life of a child depends on the mother who carries it in her womb. If she decides to carry it through to the end, she will give birth to him. But if she decides to abort it, it won't be born alive. It would be funny if another woman came and said to a child who was already in his mother's womb, "Get out of that womb and come into mine." The child must be carried through to the end. Whichever stodgy philosopher says otherwise is a first-class ignoramus. He doesn't understand this great law. Secondly, I do not wish to change the divine order of things even 100 millionth part, nor do I wish for you to try and change it. That would be sacrilegious. Furthermore, the laws of the White Brotherhood haven't been altered even 100 millionth part in the last 7 million years. I take this number as a quantity that belongs to the higher divine mathematics, to the divine world. These laws are strictly defined for every thought, feeling, and action. They have a special form through which our thoughts, feelings, and actions can be expressed. And this is the law. When these things manifest in this form, we feel satisfaction and contentment. So, that means the form manifests as it should. Otherwise, we feel a dissatisfaction. This is not a bad sign, but rather an urge to strive to perceive this higher form. During the time of the apostles, there was a division among the Christians of that day into followers of Peter, followers of Paul, of Christ, and others. Paul also says, "I sowed the seed, others watered it, but the Lord made it grow." And all the principles come down to growth. And they're not about who sowed and who watered. I tell you the same. The place where God put you, the place where the farmer sowed you, the place where the mother put you in school, do not cast aside these relationships which were already established. The farmer and the mother are wiser than those of you who leave the school. Now, I'm going to stop here. This year, the White Brotherhood is going to meet on the 19th of August. Don't be under the illusion that you are from the White Brotherhood. The members have their annual meeting. I don't want you to be ignorant. The White Brotherhood is made up of people who completed their evolution thousands of years ago. They meet every year and determine the destinies of all the nations. Now we are holding our own annual gathering at the same time as theirs. They are also on Earth. If you walk correctly on this path, one day you will also become members of this brotherhood. Right now, you're just servants. The Apostle Paul touches on something about this in the Epistle to the Hebrews. This year, all the people who are from here, from Sofia, and who partook up until 1914, are included. They will come on the morning of the 17th in Deunov. However, those who joined in the years 1916 to 1919 will also be included. They'll come on the morning of the 18th, and among the newest members, on the evening of the 18th. I wish that you would create harmony amongst yourselves, so we can make use of the time wisely, and there will be work that needs to be done. To tell you the truth, the White Brotherhood doesn't look upon the people of Sofia with a good eye. Not that the Brotherhood doesn't love you, but they're sorry for those rights that you have imposed on yourselves. Freedom requires rights, but you should know that there are rights as well as obligations. From there, you have to learn the ways in which countries and nations should be governed. None of the methods that have been used up to this point can be applied, and you know the results. You will continue learning, because you'll come back to Earth again until you complete your development. You'll go to school, and you'll return again as students until you graduate. Do not think that you'll be able to convince me of your own personal views. There's only one way for this. If you live in virtue, in love, in wisdom, righteousness, and truth. I cannot be in a place where God isn't there. Where evil reigns, God is not there. I told a friend that I wouldn't let anyone commit a crime. But when I pass away, you can do whatever you want. Whoever attempts to commit a crime, I will grab him and cause him some pain. I won't let him commit suicide. A day will come when you will understand this law. Someone is saying, "But I'm not afraid." But show me your love. You're a first-class coward. Now you have an obligation to the white brothers of the school where you belong. You have no excuses. You can't free yourselves from your obligations to them. You can't hide anywhere, not even in the bottommost region of hell. You have to understand this very well. You cannot hide from the white brothers. They are bearers of light, of every new culture, of every good thing. And when a person has their support, he succeeds in everything. However, when he is deprived of their support, everything is finished. Your relations with me are your relations to the White Brotherhood, and your relations to the White Brotherhood are your relations to God. You will say, "We only know one God." You are mistaken. The sun is known by the light, but even the light has an intermediary. It's the ether. Otherwise, it would be invisible. It's the same way the White Brotherhood is also an intermediary between you and God. You have to organize yourselves this year. No loose command will be issued. I'm willing to listen to each one of you, and I would like it if you were willing to do at least half of what I do. Even Christ says, the student has to be like the teacher. How do you think I lived among you? Have you seen something bad from me? You want to do something. I say, try it. Do it. But I know this is the law. With whatever measure you measure, it will be measured to you. Be free. I know your life from the past. I know everything, but I don't dig. Instead, I bury these things. Knowledge doesn't always serve you, but I make use of whatever you do. If you want to have the divine blessing, you have to listen to God. This was said to me, and I came on purpose. And then I say, one has 3 possible conditions. I stand very firm on this matter. First, if you don't want to follow the teaching that I preach to you, I say, very good, you're free. Secondly, if you are ready to fulfill Christ's teaching, as it is in the Gospels, you have to do it in all its fullness. Thirdly, if you are ready, can you fulfill the teaching of Moses in all its fullness? It's either Moses or Christ or me. We are one. These are manifestations of God. This teaching is divine. The teaching of Moses is divine. The teaching of Christ is divine. And the current teaching is divine. They have one and the same source. Only the forms are different. The Spirit is one and the same. Suppose I tell you a maxim, a law, but I don't sign it. You fulfill it. You won't lose much if my name is not under it. But Christ says that his teaching must be fulfilled. You need to fulfill either what the White Brotherhood reveals to you, or Christ, or the teaching of Moses. Ultimately, one of these teachings must be fulfilled. I put these 3 positions before you, since you are casting doubts in your thoughts. I don't want to remove anyone, and I would like it if you fulfill all 3 of the teachings. In their fullness, they are one and the same. Christ is the same within Moses, Christ is the same within Jesus, and the Christ who is within me is the same. I want you to understand the inner side of these things. The sun is relevant to us according to the light that it sends. This year, even right now, you have to make a decision within yourselves. You have to be sincere, because the blessing you want to receive depends on that sincerity. I see your thoughts. Are we really ready for this, to be called for such a task? Remember that king who called guests to his table, and since the ones who were invited didn't come, then I will call those of you who are lame and crippled. Be grateful that those others didn't come. This is not a matter of honor, but you came here to learn, and I will give an account of you that no one has ever given. I will say how you study, along with all the details. Then, if a rod comes around to give you a beating for your disobedience, I'm not responsible. If your father makes use of the rod, I will sit in complete reverence and count the blows. Don't fool yourselves in thinking that one person is more dignified than the other. Everything in the White Brotherhood goes like music. We neither kick anyone out, nor do we call anyone. God calls him, and the one who is called kicks himself out. You are free in this respect. No one can impose limitations on you, but also no one can save you from the consequences. I wish that you would restore harmony in life amongst yourselves, but not according to the letter. I don't want to delve into your lives. I don't want to judge you, but I'm telling you what the consequences will be, and I'm healing you as sick people. Is it possible for the healer not to cause a little pain? The Black Brotherhood has got you entangled. It caused a whole storm. Sin is still sin before God. Such a crime can be forgiven, but it can't be excused. A brother will come and spend an entire lifetime atoning for a crime. This is a right that applies to everyone, both big and small alike. I don't want you to waste your strength. I'm the one who said either this or that. Don't draw your information from a secondary source, secondhand. Come to me directly. Yet you hang 99 ribbons on something I said, and then make conclusions. Someone says, Mr. Deunov has secured himself. Years ago, Manurainov came and offered me 30,000 leva, so I could use them as I saw fit. I told him, keep them with you. After his death, his wife offered them to me again and left them with me. This money, which came into the Brotherhood, has a strictly defined purpose for what it should be used. And if anyone misuses it, he will bear the consequences himself. Dr. Mirkovich wanted to leave his inheritance to me. I told him, sell it and give the money to the poor or to your relatives. And this brother, pointing to Lazar Kotev, asked me about the house. I told him only one person should take it. If one of them lies to me, then the others will also lie to me. There is a law in the White Brotherhood. We cannot judge a brother until he commits a crime. One has to first think, then desire, and finally act. Only then can we say something about a person's actions. First, they'll judge you on earth, then in the astral world for your desires, then in the mental realm, and finally, in the causal world, you will be able to do away with it. Meting out judgment is not for us. Even Christ says, I didn't come to judge, but to save. The Father passed judgment upon the Son of Man, and the Son of Man represents that White Brotherhood, which is given the right to judge the world. After you study the occult sciences, you will come to know about this great hierarchy, which has the power to judge even the smaller brothers. Your attitude toward me is temporary. It is said, do not disturb the coachman when traveling. If he's a master in his trade, he will take you where you need to go. However, if you don't have faith, don't go inside his cart. We currently don't expel anyone. There are 3 kinds of laws: for the brotherhood, for friendship, and for acquaintances. You are still not brothers. In order to be a brother in the White Brotherhood, you have to sacrifice your life for the others. This is the law of the Brotherhood. You are required to give everything. If you don't fulfill this, They will hold you accountable. I am now fulfilling the law of friendship with you and not the law of the brotherhood. The teaching I preach to you holds an advantage. I want to acquaint you with the laws of living nature, those things which no person has ever studied before or knew until now. And this happens very slowly. In the books you read, this seems like an easy task. But if you want to study the laws of living nature, this school is a little difficult. I want you to be free in your thoughts and feelings. I didn't impose any restrictions on you, but there are others who will restrict you. In the yearly gathering, prepare yourselves for the cessation of elementary things, which is turning back to baptism and salvation. Let's proceed toward a new formula in which the new life can manifest. I don't want any one of you to stumble over anything. Now you'll study the law of humility and meekness. It's the first thing. And the second one is electricity and magnetism. And the third one is suffering. But those of you in Sofia began with suffering. You have to have a reserve of energy in order to pass through this fire. I'm only telling the way to prepare yourselves for humility and meekness, electricity and magnetism. I didn't create these things myself. They already exist. Those of you from Sofia have to smooth this out. You will say, how? You can. If 100 people are sentenced to jail for their debts and I'm wealthy, I will pay for them and say, release them. Be self-reliant. Each person should have his own thought on a matter. Do not influence each other, but help each other. If you are influenced from the outside, they might tell you, Mr. Deunov is such and such. But if you yourselves are incapable of recognizing the truth, it cannot be conveyed from the outside. I wish you to have mutual respect and love, to honor and love each other. This is the first law of the White Brotherhood. You cannot change this law. And there, on the blue stones where I spent 25 days, I received all your thoughts, and I can give you a photographic imprint of your thoughts. And if you want to shoot, shoot at the flesh, and not just bing bang, then you're merely banging around. You have no time. You are in the 20th year of the 20th century. Your karma is already ripe, and if you don't do away with it now, you'll fall behind by 2,000 years. When you move ahead, others will come who will take your place. Do not stop. Believe in the great divine law. Trust your experience from your past. And you understand these things very well. You're not blind. Be in Deunov on the 17th and 18th. Believe in the living God and He will reveal Himself to you, because He says, if you believe in my words, the truth will be revealed to you. You have to believe in somebody. A mother has to give birth to you. This is the law. We don't deal with individuals. One day, when we meet again, we'll talk again, because these things will become more clear. We have to resist the Black Lodge. The Black Brotherhood and the White Brotherhood are in conflict, and you have to choose a side. If you take part and side with the Black Brotherhood, they'll make sausages out of your flesh and leather straps from your skin. However, if you take the side of the White Brotherhood, you'll walk on both your feet, your flesh will be healthy, and you'll have all the divine blessings. El Kotif asks a question. Isn't neutrality allowed? No neutrality at all. You are either with the Lord or against the Lord. My attitude towards you hasn't changed based on what happened among you. I feel sorry that the people can't understand this law. I don't want the person for whom I did something good to know me, but I want him to say, "May the Lord bless the one who did this good thing for me." Try to instill harmony. You have had experiences, sufferings, and aspirations. Whatever happened, happened. It's not the first time. But all misunderstandings have to disappear. This has to happen willingly and not forcibly. This year it's you, the residents from Sofia, who are stumbling the effort. This is why I came to warn you. Let's create a lot of work for ourselves, because the human thought, desire, and action are a great force when they are united with God. The 8th of August, 1920.